Have you ever wondered where your day went? Imagine waking up with a fog over your mind, weighed down by endless demands. Work deadlines, family responsibilities, social media updates, and that constant feeling of needing to do more can take over. But what if you could reclaim your time and energy right now? Before we start, consider subscribing to this channel. We explore Stoic ideas and real-life wisdom to help you find purpose. Stay with us, and you'll learn how to take control of your time, your emotions, and your life. The distraction dilemma. Every day, our phones buzz with notifications, our calendars fill up, and tasks feel urgent. Your boss might need a report by noon, friends expect you to join a group chat, and family may need help after work. All these demands show one thing: your time isn't really yours. You end up feeling drained and anxious, like you're stuck on a ride you never chose. I used to be proud of always being available. I answered emails at midnight, joined every meeting, even ones outside my main duties, and let people share their problems anytime. Soon, I became irritable and exhausted. I even snapped at loved ones. I eventually realized I was letting my life spiral out of control by not setting clear boundaries. We feel this way because we think we must always say yes. We worry that saying no is rude or that we'll be seen as difficult. This need for approval forces us to take on tasks that aren't truly ours, leading to stress and pushing our real priorities aside. From a Stoic view, Marcus Aurelius reminds us that while we can't control external events, we can control our reactions. If we let the chaos of the world invade every part of our lives, we lose control of our mind. Distractions steal the quiet moments we need to reflect and grow. Epictetus taught that worrying about others' demands is pointless. The real challenge is managing our own focus. I remember almost burning out when I agreed to another volunteer project at work. Even though it wasn't something I cared about and I was already stretched thin, I realized I was letting my fear of disappointing others rule me. So I said, I can't commit to that right now. To my surprise, my boss respected my decision. That moment showed me how good it feels to protect my energy. So who controls your time? If it's not you, it's time to reclaim that power. Start small. Turn off non-essential notifications, politely decline tasks that don't match your main focus, and let no be part of your vocabulary. In doing so, you protect your life, and that is priceless. Let's continue this journey together. 2. The shadow of comparison. Imagine scrolling through social media and seeing friends show off their new house, job, or vacation. Meanwhile, you're stuck with bills, the same routine at work, and that nagging feeling of not being good enough. It's easy to compare yourself and think, they're so far ahead, what did I do wrong? But that comparison not only ruins your mood, it takes you off your own path. For a long time, I compared myself to others. I watched old classmates climb the ladder, post photos from fancy events, and celebrate big wins. Instead of feeling happy for them, I felt bitter. In truth, I was hurting myself. I let envy shape my happiness and overlooked the progress I'd made. We often compare because we seek external validation. We see the best parts of others' lives and assume theirs is easier or better. This triggers feelings of shame, jealousy, and self-doubt. Yet everyone faces their own struggles, and social media rarely tells the whole story. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. When you compare yourself to others, you hand over your power." The Stoics remind us that each person has a unique path. Seneca taught that real fulfillment comes from living by your own values, not by matching someone else's success. I hit a low point when I overheard friends talking about their achievements, promotions, dream homes, vacations. My first reaction was anger. But when I reflected, I realized that anger was mine alone. I was letting envy control me. That's when I started journaling, a simple Stoic exercise for self-reflection. I wrote down my achievements, whether it was finishing a tough project or being there for a family member. Slowly, I began to see how far I had come. So next time you feel envious, pause and ask yourself, why does their success affect my worth? Take a moment to list your own wins, your challenges, and your goals. This will help ground you in your reality. Your worth comes from who you are and who you're becoming, not from comparing yourself to others. Focus on you and let go of envy. 3. The burden of others' expectations. Every day we carry invisible chains. These chains come from our family's expectations, our workplace culture, or society's ideas about success. Maybe your parents expect you to run the family business, even if your passion lies elsewhere. Maybe your boss thinks you should answer emails around the clock, ignoring your need for rest. When we constantly say yes to others, we lose sight of who we really are. I remember when my family expected me to always be available and keep everyone happy. I was proud of being the dependable one, but inside I felt stressed and angry. When conflicts arose, I blamed them for piling responsibilities on me. After a difficult argument, I realized I had allowed this to happen. I had reinforced the idea that I could handle anything, no matter how unfair. This pain comes from linking our worth to fulfilling others' expectations. We worry that saying no might cost us love, approval, or even our job. Sometimes we want to feel indispensable, but sacrificing our own needs for others isn't heroism, it's self-neglect. Epictetus said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." Stoicism teaches us to define our own values and act on them. If we keep giving in to external demands, we lose our internal compass. We end up shaped by others instead of being the artist of our own life. Few years ago, I hit a breaking point at work. My manager expected me to answer messages any time, even on weekends. My family assumed I would drop everything whenever they needed me. I was close to a meltdown. A trusted friend asked, "What do you really want your life to look like?" That question sparked a change. I started setting aside time every evening for my own projects. I told my manager that I wouldn't be available past a certain hour and explained to my family that while I cared deeply for them, I couldn't be on call 24/7. You have the right and even the duty to set your own boundaries. It might upset some people at first, but that's okay. People who value you will adjust, and those who don't were never truly respecting you. Begin by clarifying what you won't compromise on. Decide which hours are sacred for your well-being and share your limits clearly and kindly. Soon, you'll feel the freedom of following your own path without the weight of others' expectations. 4. When family bonds hurt. Family is meant to be a safe space, but sometimes those closest to us can hurt us the most. Maybe you have relatives who criticize every decision you make, or siblings who never appreciate your help. Every interaction can feel like a minefield, and you may wonder if you're wasting your energy on endless conflict. For years, I was the family fixer. I rushed to solve problems, mediate arguments, and adjust my schedule just to cheer someone up. Over time, I felt empty. I even lashed out when I reached my limit. I eventually realized I had taught my family to rely on me for everything, and that only made things worse. In many families, we end up stuck in roles like the peacemaker, the caregiver, or the scapegoat without even choosing them. Guilt and fear of rejection keep us in these roles because we feel we have to comply. But by always smoothing things over, we stop both our own growth and that of those around us. Seneca once talked about the need for self-control when dealing with relationships. Emotions run high, but we must think clearly instead of letting our feelings run the show. You can care about your family while still setting limits. Boundaries restore balance and let genuine love grow. Self-control isn't cold indifference. It's about knowing what you need. I learned this after a fight about money. Every time my sister called to vent about her finances, I jumped in with a quick fix. This only made her avoid responsibility and left me drained. Finally, I told her I couldn't keep bailing her out. I helped her find resources to manage her budget, but made it clear she had to take charge of her own finances. At first, she was upset, but over time, she learned to stand on her own feet, and our relationship improved. If your family feels toxic or exhausting, know that it's okay to set new boundaries. Speak calmly and honestly. Let them know you value the relationship, but can't solve every problem for them. Some may resist, but your emotional energy is limited. Protecting your mental well-being helps you be a more loving and stable family member. Setting limits isn't cruel. It's about keeping a healthy balance for everyone involved. 5. Reclaiming personal power. Think about every time you've said, "I wish I had more time," or "I need a break." These aren't empty words. They tell you your life is out of balance. Your time, energy, and peace are limited. If you waste them on small tasks or toxic relationships, you'll regret it. The question is, will you break this cycle? I hit my turning point when I stayed late at work on projects that weren't even mine. I kept saying, "I'm a team player," but I was really afraid of letting my boss down. My health took a hit. I gained weight, felt anxious, and barely slept. One night, as I looked at my reflection, I realized those long hours were my choice. That was my wake-up call. I had to take responsibility. Often, we wait for permission to change. We fear conflict, judgment, or even success, which means higher standards. So we stick with the familiar misery instead of risking the unknown. We convince ourselves it's only temporary until months turn into years. Stoicism teaches us to live in line with our true nature. Epictetus said to focus on what we control, our actions, attitudes, and habits. Waiting for external approval makes us lose control. Remember, you are the captain of your life. You have the power to change direction. After my wake-up call, I set clear boundaries at work. I told my team I wouldn't stay past a certain time unless it was an emergency. I also started an exercise routine and blocked that time on my calendar like any important meeting. It felt odd at first, and some even questioned my commitment. But soon people respected my decision. I regained my energy and my productivity soared because I was no longer running on empty. I stopped feeling like a doormat. Now, what about you? Are you waiting for someone to give you permission to value your own life? Consider this your sign to take control. Protect your schedule, your health, and your peace of mind. Start small. Leave work on time, skip a pointless meeting, or say no to an unproductive favor. Each choice is a step toward a better life. Celebrate every small win and watch your confidence grow. 6. Final reflection and next steps. We've covered constant distractions, endless comparisons, the pressure of others' expectations, and the complex ties within our families. We've seen how losing sight of who you are can drain your spirit. If you don't take back your time, you risk a life filled with unfulfilled moments and growing regrets. No one deserves that. I remember a time when I felt completely powerless. Work was like an endless treadmill. My family expected more than I could give, and I compared myself so much that I forgot about my own achievements. I blamed my boss, my relatives, and even my friends who seemed to have it easier. But the truth was, I had never set or defended my own boundaries. We suffer because we let the world steal our focus and silence our inner voice. It's easy to blame others, but that only keeps us stuck. If you don't take charge of your life, someone else will. And They might not have your best interests in mind. Seneca once said that life is long if you know how to use it. Every day is a chance to shape your life, strengthen your values, and focus on what matters. Life isn't just about the hours you put in, it's about the quality of those moments. If you let trivial matters and others' demands steal your day, you'll feel empty. Stoicism teaches us to choose a richer life by focusing on what helps us grow. Over time, I began to apply these Stoic lessons. I cut down on digital distractions, started journaling, and reminded myself that every yes I gave meant a no to something that truly mattered. Slowly, I found my peace again. With steady effort, I felt less anger toward others and more kindness toward myself. That change made all the difference. So, where do you go from here? If you let others control your schedule, it's time to draw a line. If your family's demands have crushed your own dreams, start setting clear but gentle boundaries. And if social media or envy holds you back, consider a detox. You might be surprised at how quickly you reconnect with yourself. If you found anything useful here, share it with someone who might need it. Leave a comment with one boundary you plan to set this week. We're in this together. Remember, your time is irreplaceable. Use it wisely. If you want more tips on self-control and living well, check out our next video. For now, take a deep breath, feel the air in your lungs, and know that you deserve to put yourself first. This isn't arrogance. It's recognizing the true value of your life. Let's keep growing, one choice at a time.